Hello, everyone, and welcome to Movie Goodness, where we examine life through cinema here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and for all of you football fans out there, the Super Bowl has come to an end. The 2024-25 NFL football season has come to the end. The Philadelphia Eagles are your Super Bowl champions of this year after destroying the the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That was the most boring game ever because it was over. It was over by the first quarter. But it was, for some strange reason, the most exciting, the most gratifying in many ways. Many ways. Number one, I wasn't cheering for the Chiefs for a number of reasons. I did in the past. I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan as far as his football is concerned. I think he wanted probably the best quarterback currently playing in the NFL. He's exciting to watch. But aside from that, I'm starting to kind of distance myself from Patrick Mahomes and that organization because there's a number of players on that team that I used to like that I don't know more. And I just don't like the Chiefs. And so I was hoping and praying and wishing that the Philadelphia Eagles came out victorious in that game. And they did, and there's a number of players on the Eagles team that I do like. A couple of players on that team that used to play for the team that I cheer for, the New Orleans Saints, and they currently are on the Eagles and they won their Super Bowl. So I'm happy for those guys. But this isn't sports talk. That's not why we're here. We're here because of the halftime show. We're here to talk about Kendrick Lamar's opus that took place in between this game that they just put around a Kendrick Lamar concert because that's what it was about. That's all everybody's talking about. They can care less about the game. Who cares? I don't even care. I really watched that game so I can watch the halftime show because I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. This goes way back. This is before the Drake beef. I always was a Kendrick Lamar fan. The dude is phenomenal. I'm going to his concert in a couple of months. I can't wait for that. Already got our tickets. I am bucked up for that concert, but I got a little sample size during the Super Bowl, and boy, boy, did he get the world talking. This concert, I keep calling it concert. This halftime show was the stuff of legend. They'll be talking about this for years to come. This will be up there. Now, as far as ranking it as one of the best halftime shows of all time, I don't know. I got to get some distance between it. It's still a little fresh. I don't want to put it up there high, but Prince is still top on my list right now. Prince had one of the greatest halftime shows of all time for one reason and one reason only. Prince was singing Purple Rain, and it started raining simultaneously. And I mean, how could you not get shivers up your spine when that happened? It was like he perfectly timed the rain. You can't make that stuff up. Prince, God rest his soul, one of the greatest halftime Super Bowl shows of all time. Michael Jackson had one of the most phenomenal halftime shows of all time. The man stood on stage still for like 5 minutes and people were losing their minds. He didn't say a word. He didn't move. He just stood there for 5 minutes and everybody was just screaming and crying and just trying to get to. He was Michael, man. God rest his soul as well. But I can't put him over. Those were two juggernauts. Then you can throw in your Beyonce's. That was an awesome halftime show. The halftime show they had, I think it was in L.A., the one with Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg. before he went crazy. That was a good show. That was an excellent show. Ironically, Kendrick Lamar was a part of that halftime show. But on this go around, he was all by his lonesome, and I was a little skeptical when they first announced this back in September that he was going to be the halftime entertainment for the Super Bowl. I'm like, Kendrick, you know, I, I, I don't know, because he really don't have any uh what can I say, commercial hits. He has a lot of phenomenal songs. He had classic albums. All of his albums are classic. But nothing I would say is commercial other than Not Like Us, and that's a diss track. So I'm like, well, he's not going to do Not Like Us for 15 minutes. I don't see how this is going to work. But I had to think as time drew closer to this halftime show, this is Kendrick Lamar. We're not going to get shucking and jiving Kendrick Lamar. Lamar only has one gear, and that's to be poignant. That's the spread of message, and that's what he's always done. So I was very curious to see how he was going to do this show. Let's keep in mind, this is the biggest Super Bowl of all time as far as numbers, as far as viewership is concerned. I think they said 140 million. I could be off by a few, but it was the largest of all time that viewed this Super Bowl. So this is the biggest audience ever to watch. On top of that, live and in person, you had a sitting president sitting in the stands. Well, you know his name. He was in the stands. Will this prompt Kendrick Lamar to be on his best behavior during this show? No. No. Kendrick Lamar is going to be Kendrick Lamar. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. The reason we're talking about this today, and this isn't your normal movie goodness show. Well, normally we do the topic and then we do a movie review related to the topic. Not today. We're not going to do a movie review. This was more entertainment than you needed. This show. And the reason we're doing, or at least talking about this halftime show, is because of the divide and the outrage and the sheer just anger that I've witnessed from people who watched this show and was just upset and offended and appalled by this show. And all I can do at first, my initial reaction was anger. But I'm glad cooler heads prevailed. Now it's just sheer comedy. Why these people are so upset that Kendrick Lamar chose to stage a 13-minute, 20-second protest on national television, on the biggest stage ever on television. And that was the point. And it just brings joy to my heart. I know he's probably sitting at home just laughing with joy that the mirror that he showed in the middle of the Superdome and flashed it on everybody, that they are looking in that mirror right now. But these people are so delusional that they don't even see themselves in the mirror. They don't even see what the man was saying. I was looking online. I think it was Facebook. Facebook is where I saw a lot of the vitriol. Just people just downright. I don't know. They calling for Roger Goodell to be fired. They're calling for Jay-Z to be fired. Jay-Z is the coordinator of the music for the Super Bowl for the past few years. And they calling for that. This is the most boring halftime show of all time. Why did they pick him? Then you have the ones that are like, oh, they should have picked Lil Wayne. And and all that because it's in New Orleans and all this here. What? No, don't get me wrong. I like Wayne. But you missed the point. You missed the point. But that didn't upset me as much. The white people didn't upset me because I fully expected that from white folks. They don't like when black people do anything outside of what they feel you should do. And so that didn't bother me. Well, I shouldn't say it didn't bother me, but it didn't surprise me that they were upset. What bothered me were the black folks who were upset. And I had black people in my own family who were upset. Oh, this was stupid. What? Wait, what? Did you get the point? Did you get the message? Did you understand what he was saying? It went over your head. That's fine. I was talking with a friend of mine. I think the day after that Monday, I was talking to a friend of mine. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine if you didn't like it. You know, if you didn't get the message. Because the whole 13 minutes was nothing but a message. Visually and verbally. The whole setup was a message. Now, if you didn't get it, if it went over your head, that's fine. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer either. Sometimes things go over my head. But if it do, I don't sit there and criticize it and just straight up hate it because I didn't understand what was going on. Either I'll try to find out what happened, what's going on, what did this mean? And then I was like, well, okay, well, that still was kind of dumb or whatever, but I'll say it to myself. I'm not going to be all judgmental and call this the worst halftime show of all time. I witnessed a halftime show. It was the 2009 Super Bowl. How I remember that so vividly, because that's the Super Bowl where my New Orleans Saints won their first and only up to this point Super Bowl. And so I remember every aspect of that Super Bowl. You know who the halftime entertainment was for that Super Bowl? The Who. Exactly. That was depressing. That was the most depressing Super Bowl halftime show I have ever seen. The Who? Who? It was like, what? This is a halftime show? But that's fine. That's cool. I didn't trip on that. Number one, by the time the halftime show was over, I was fully engaged in the game. I could care less about the halftime show because my team was playing in the Super Bowl. But to sit here with this level of hatred, that lets me know that Kendrick Lamar did the right thing. It was a protest. It was a protest. And once everybody started to get their bearings and realize what he was doing and what he had done, then you started hearing, oh, well, this wasn't the place for it. This is supposed to be the Super Bowl. It's supposed to be entertaining. Why would he do that at this stage? That's the best stage to do it. I mean, where else he was? So let me get this straight. If you're going to organize a protest, I got to do it to your convenience. The ones who I'm protesting, I'm supposed to wait till it's comfortable for you to do this protest. Make that make sense. The whole purpose of a protest is to make you uncomfortable, to make you think, to make you talk about it, to have this discourse. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. As of today, what has been about 3 days since the Super Bowl, people are still talking about this halftime show. People, they don't even mention the game. Nobody has talked. I haven't heard or had one conversation about that game since it went final. Nobody talks about it. You'll forget a game even took place. The whole talk is the halftime show. Fox News is talking about the halftime show. Of course, you know what they're saying about the halftime show. But it is hilarious to me that people are so upset that this man chose to protest in the middle of this game. Wow, this buffoon of a president sits in a little skybox or whatever inside the Superdome and had to bear witness to the liberation. And so it was great. I'm telling you, it did my heart all the good. I have been just happy and glee ever since. I told my cousin while we bring it up '09, in '09 when the Saints won the Super Bowl, and that feeling of euphoria that I got was something that has lasted for the past 15 years. It's just been a level of joy that I don't remember getting, other than when my children were born, and then there was the Saints winning the Super Bowl. Those were the three occasions where I just feel like I had out of body experiences. All right, this is on the level of that '09 Super Bowl with me, and neither one of the teams I could care less if they won or lost. But the mere fact that somebody had the cojones to pull off the heist of a century. And what did he steal? All of these white folks' joy, all of MAGA's joy, who was watching the game with their buddies, drinking their all-American beer, and you know whatever they do. They were doing it during this game and had to bear witness to these black folks not sitting there in skimpy outfits, not twerking on stage, not shucking and jiving. No, they were putting on a display. They were putting on an artistic display of protest. Beautifully done. And in case you was wondering, I agreed with every little thing that took place at that halftime show. It was great. It was great. It needed to be done. And finally somebody stepped up and did it. And somebody stepped up to the plate on the biggest stage. And they didn't do it at his little concert in, I don't know, Cucamonga, California somewhere. No, we're going to do this right now, right here, right here. That is amazing. Now, to give credit where credit is due, Beyonce did it. I know the Beehive is coming. Beyonce did it at the Super Bowl halftime show when she had her Black Panther thing going. That was great, and I loved it then too. That was awesome. That was awesome. But that was just a taste. Kendrick Lamar took it to a whole nother level, man. He really did. And so what I'm gonna do is, what I decided to do is do a short little show. I just had to get this show off of my chest, because it's been festering in my head. And so what we're gonna do is break down the performance, break down the 13-minute, 20-second performance by Kendrick Lamar during the halftime of the Super Bowl, and try to touch in on some of the messages, because maybe it went over your head. Maybe you didn't understand. Maybe you were just so mad you turned it off and you missed it. Well, that's fine. I'm here to help you. We're going to help you today. Let's try to decipher some of the symbolism that took place this Sunday or last Sunday at the Super Bowl. First and foremost, he started off, he was standing on top of that Buick Grand National, beautiful car. And he pretty much warned you right off the bat. He let you know the revolution is about to be televised. You picked the wrong time. Well, you picked the right time, but the wrong guy. He let you know right off the bat, this is what you're going to get. Now, the revolution about to be televised, that's kind of a flip on the original poet or poem that was written in 1971 by Gil Scott Herold. It said, the revolution will not be televised. Well, time has changed. Times have changed. And that was probably, most likely, a shot straight at President, you know his name. And so he was there. He was there. He left right after this, but he was there for this. And that made it all the sweeter. And now Kendrick Lamar, he utilized every second of this 13-minute display to tell a unique American story. But don't get it twisted. He did take a minute or two to diss Drake. I never said he wasn't petty, but he still carved off enough time in this performance to let Drake know I'm still at your neck. This ain't going nowhere, Papa. We you're not like us. But in any event, fresh off of this, he's fresh. What was it, last weekend at the Grammys? He won 5 Academy. He won 5 Grammys at the Grammy Awards. Yeah, so it's safe to say he's living on a high right now. But at this show, this performance was it just had a slew of theories and interpretations you could have took from it, from both the fans and his peers about his performance, and it just celebrated Black culture. And that's another reason why a lot of people are upset. It was the celebration of Black culture. It wasn't anything else to this. This was just strictly Black. If you don't know anything about the culture, yeah, you're lost. And that's shame on you. If you don't know anything about the Black culture, because it's not members only. Obviously, it's not members only. There are white folks who know. There are a slew of white folks who know about the Black culture and accept it and are a part of it. There are millions of Americans who, number one, feel that the Black culture is nothing but thugs and prostitutes and crime and drugs and just trifling stuff. No, it's more to the culture. Yeah, we have our problems, just like every other culture around the world. But the Black culture is a beautiful culture, and it was on display at the Super Bowl. Speaking of the Super Bowl performance, he had dancers, and they were all dressed in red, white, and blue kind of jumpsuits and hoodies, and they assembled to create a divided American flag. And Kendrick Lamar, he was standing in the center of it to show that divide. His storytelling, it was subtle. It was subtle, but oh my God, it was powerful. To show that, to show how this country is divided, and to show how this country was built on the backs of Black Americans. In that visual, it was so powerful. Once again, went over a lot of people's heads and got a lot of folks mad. But that old trope, you fear what you don't understand. If you don't understand it, you automatically get on the defensive, and that's what a lot of people did. But that's not the scary part. The scary part are the ones who did understand it and still got mad. That's the scary part. Those are the ones who really grind my gears, as Peter Griffin would say. And so we move on, and we get a cameo. Yeah, this show had cameos. We had a cameo from Samuel L. Jackson, who was portraying Uncle Sam in this, I guess you can say, motion art piece that we were getting. And he was Uncle Sam. He had on the star pattern top hat. He introduced the crowd to the Great American Game, and this is pretty much a rendition or a version of the character he played in Django Unchained, that Uncle Tom house Negro, Steven, that he played in that movie, that he deserved every award ever. I don't even think he was nominated for that film, which is a crime against nature. But he's basically a version of that character here. And he's guiding us through this halftime show, coming in, interrupting Kendrick Lamar and, giving his little tidbits on, uh, well, he represents the America that America wants from black folks. This is the black man that white America wants us to be. And so, yeah, he's telling Kendrick, yeah, you're too loud, you're too reckless, you're too ghetto, after he performed Squabble Up. And that that was like, my God, he's really going there. that's where my mind was. I'm like, man, Kendrick is not holding back tonight. This is awesome. And so after Uncle Sam said that, this is when we get SZA. She joins the performance, and they perform Luther, which is one of my favorite tracks off of Kendrick Lamar's current album. And oh my God, why is the song escaping me? It was on Black Panther. All the stars. I love that song. So he slowed it down for him since we were too loud and too reckless and too ghetto. But right before that, he had the group of ladies, and he was like, yeah, I want to sing y'all favorite song, but they like to sue. He was talking about Drake, because Drake is suing him over they not like us. There's a whole lawsuit going on about that, several, if I'm not mistaken, and probably another one pending after this after this halftime show. But instead of doing that, they cut into the slower his slower songs, as Uncle Sam was instructing him to do. So after he performed those songs, Samuel Jackson came out. He was like, yeah, that's what America wants. They want nice and calm. You're almost there. Just don't mess it up. And just when Samuel Jackson said, don't mess it up, that's when the beat for Not Like Us dropped. And it was it was like, okay, he's gonna do it. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you God honest truth. Because my daughters were asking me, leading up to the game, and we were talking about the halftime show and whatnot. They were like, Dad, who you think? You think he's gonna bring somebody out and this, that, and the third? What songs you think he's gonna perform? And I gave my little set list of what I thought, and I was about 20% right. But I said, "There's no way he performs Not Like Us. It's no way," because of the law. I'm thinking of the lawsuits. Because this is an ongoing thing. Because I believe the big hang up there is when Kendrick Lamar calls Drake a pedophile in the song. And so that's the big hang up with the lawsuit. I guess it's defamation or whatever. And so I'm like, man, he's not gonna perform that. Boy, was I wrong. He went ahead and he performed. And then it's been a meme. I know you see it all over social media. The picture, the little frozen motion of him walking, staring at the camera, smiling. And at that moment, that's when he says, "Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young." It just smiles and winks at the. I'm like, oh my God, this dude is petty. Because I thought he was going to edit it or something, skip over that. Now he skipped over the pedophile. Unfortunately, the crowd in the Superdome didn't edit it. they were singing along. He stopped singing. They kept singing. So I guess Drake gonna sue everybody that attended the Super Bowl. But either way, the fact that when he got to the part, when he got to the part to say, you're trying to strike a chord, but it's probably A minor, and he didn't say A minor. Well, he did say A minor, but he said it low. But the whole Superdome in unison, A minor. I was like, oh my God, Drake, somebody go do a wellness check on Drake, because this can't be good. That is devastating. The world saw this, man. The world. To add, I guess you could say, salt into the wound, you got Serena Williams crip walking to the song. And in case you don't know the history of that, Williams used to date Drake, and when they broke up, Drake saying all type of stuff about Serena and all this here, and basically going off on it. Well, the connection with Serena Williams and Kendrick Lamar, even though there's probably a deeper connection, but the one that I know of for certain, they grew up in the same area in Compton, and so I guess they know each other. So there's that. So Kendrick Lamar, he went ahead and inherited that beef and brought her on stage. It's Crip Wall. But I also heard a rumor that SZA and Drake used to date. And so he brought her, collaborating with her as well, got her on stage. It was just every move. To make a long story short, too late, but a long story short, every move Kendrick Lamar made Sunday afternoon, evening, night in the Superdome was calculated. There was no wasted motion. Everything he did had a point. Every word he said had a point. I cannot commend this young man any more than what we saw. It was amazing. Well, that wasn't the end. He went into one of my favorite songs on his new album, TB Off, and it has the most epic beat that I've heard in a long time, which this track was produced by DJ Mustard. And in the middle of the song, you you hear the drop, Mustard. Then it just goes into this different beat, is the switch up, and he was, oh my God, that's how you ended this show, with him rapping TB Off, and you see the crowd in the back with the lights saying game over, and it cuts out. I'm like, my God. But it's more than that. The messaging behind that, I believe. Yes, for the game that we play, going back to what Uncle Sam was saying during the performance, that this is the great American game. They want us to do what they want us to do. Sing what they want us to sing, dance the way they want us to dance, perform like they want us to perform. That's the game. But game over. But the other game that's over is this beef with Drake. That was it. He put it to bed. And it's over. It's over. Well, it was over. It was over months ago with the diss tracks. It was over. I mean, he bodied Drake. I actually felt bad because I'm a Drake fan. Ironically enough, I actually like Drake. I like his music. But man, take the L, dog. Take that L and move on. He should have let it go. He should have just let it go. When you start talking about a man's family and all that you'd have messed up. And that's what Drake did to Kendrick Lamar. He talked about his wife. His wife was sleeping around on him and this, that, and the third. Oh, no. Oh, no. His kids wasn't his. It's for some other guy. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's why I don't feel bad for Drake. I feel zero sympathy for Drake. You asked for this. You asked for this. But in any event, this was an epic show. There's so much more that goes in depth. The stage shaped like an X. You can make the correlation with Malcolm X. It was shaped like a video game, like a PlayStation game controller. Once again, the great American game. You had the X button, the triangle button, the square, the circle. All of that played a part. I know a lot of people were saying online that it was reminiscent of Squid Game. That was what he was showing. I didn't quite get that. I didn't get the Squid Game of it, even though if he was playing that card, I will fully understand it, because if you watch Squid Games, it was the poor being used in for entertainment purposes, their lives being put on the line for entertainment purposes to entertain the rich. And so if that's what he was using, in that. And I watched this performance about 5 times, but and I didn't catch it. Like I said, things go over my head too. So if it was there, cool. Maybe I got to watch it again, watch it closer. But it's just that would be super poetic as well. But these are some Easter eggs that I did find throughout the performance. Like I said, I had to watch it about 5 times to get it, but these are some, and I'm pretty sure I missed a whole lot more. Let's start with the chain that he was wearing. You notice that he was wearing that big chain with the lowercase a. Well, that some people, now I don't know this for certain, but the more research I do on it, this is what a large collective believe. They theorize that Kendrick's lowercase a represents the A minor in Not Like Us. But I think that was debunked. I think that was company logo, his company logo. A lot of people are saying as well. But I found it funny that a lot of people felt that was that was another shot at Drake. The jacket he was wearing with Gloria on it, nice jacket, cool little jacket. That jacket, which says Gloria, it is Spanish for glory, and glory, it symbolizes the deep connection Kendrick Lamar has with his music. If you listen to his latest album, G and X, it's that's a track on the album, Gloria. And so he has a deep connection with his music, and that's what all that's about. The two ghetto lines spoken by Uncle Sam. That was an attempt to censor Lamar's performance, telling him that it's too ghetto. This is something that a lot of MAGA leaders have done after witnessing the show, criticizing it for being, quote unquote, too black. I mentioned the American flag depiction with the dancers in the white, red, and blue. That was to show that represent the country's divide. And this is because of the ongoing racial and political tension that still exists. Never went anywhere. People act like it don't exist no more. That part just blows my mind. Like, oh, everything's better. When? I missed the boat. And there's a section of the performance where you see the lights in the crowd that says warning, wrong way. This is seen from the perspective of the stage that is set up like a prison yard. And this is where Kendrick Lamar is standing performing. And so this has several meanings. One of them is that the country is moving in the wrong direction. The other can be a message to black people who pursue a life of crime, telling them that they're moving in the wrong direction. And there's several other meanings, but that's the ones I got out of it. But yeah, that's basically what that section of the show was. You see the part where Kendrick Lamar is standing in front of a group of young men performing under a street light. This is an example of Kendrick Lamar always bringing the hood with him no matter where he goes. And that's all that is, because that group is a real group. I think it's Turfini. I forgot their names. I had to look them up. But they're an Orlando-based dance group. And so he brought them along with him to the biggest stage. And so that was just an example. When I move up, everybody else move up, and the way things are supposed to be, it is, you're supposed to elevate everything around you. And this was an example of that. And I think that was one of the most beautiful things to come out of this show as well. Only for Uncle Sam to come in after and say that this was a cultural cheat code. A cultural cheat code, which essentially says he's trying to win over people in the black community, throughout his shows, using his music as a cultural cheat code. One of the greatest lines he dropped throughout this performance was the 40 acres and a mule line. When he said 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than music. Right before he went into Not Like Us, he pretty much is telling us that he's not satisfied. with just the music. This is bigger than just music. He's not here just for your entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And that's I was so moved by that. I was like, okay, this is the Kendrick I know. Actually, the whole thing was, but this is what I'm talking about. But in any regards, those are some of the Easter eggs that I find throughout. Like I said, there are plenty of more. I mean, plenty more. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to inundate the show with super Easter eggs because, like I said, there was no wasted motion, no wasted material, no wasted movement, no wasted outfits. Everything fit. All the set list was set in that particular order for one particular reason. So he did everything decent and in order in my eyes. I just don't understand the hate. I know haters gonna hate, but I just don't get it. It's unnecessary in my eyes. This dude went out there, and he's an artist. What do you think an artist do? If you go and hire a painter, and I ain't talking about somebody who just paints walls or whatever. I'm talking about a sculptor or an actual artist that paints portraits and stuff like that. You hire a painter or an artist to do your plumbing? No. You hire an artist to paint you a portrait, a family portrait or something. That's what they're there for. They hired Kendrick Lamar for this show. He's an artist, so he gave you some art. All artists do that. All artists have a subliminal message in something they do, in everything they do. True artists. I'm not talking about musicians. People who just out there to make say it. It's not about the money. It's bigger than the music. It's bigger than this. It's bigger than me. He's for the culture. And it matters. And for all my black folks out there, stop letting these white folks, and I'm not saying all white folks, but you know who I'm talking about. Stop letting white folks brainwash you into being ashamed of your culture, making you feel like your culture doesn't matter, because that's basically what the discussions have been throughout this whole period since the Super Bowl, that we shouldn't have had that. This shouldn't have happened. They should have picked somebody else. Why? This is our culture. Why are you ashamed of that? Why did you feel you needed to see Lil Wayne on stage? Like I said, I love Wayne. Wayne, big fan. But I didn't want to hear 6 foot, 7 foot. I didn't want to hear a Millie. I didn't want to hear all that. Him bringing the Hot Boys out and all that. I don't care about all that. I'm too old. I didn't got to the point now. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see women scantily clad, twerking on stage and all that other stuff. Yeah, I didn't got to that age. I don't want to see that. This actually helps you in some shape, form, or fashion. This shows you that if you have a platform, if you truly have a platform, and you're not using it to the best of your ability to help and spread messages, to stand up for what's right, no matter when the occasion is, then you're doing it wrong. I have a platform, this small little platform that I'm currently conducting right now. And that's the whole point of this. I want to spread a message of right. I don't want to sit here and just be here for your entertainment. Now, we do entertaining stuff here on the KB Radio Network. That's what it's here for. We review movies. We talk about some fun topics at time. All that's good. But every now and then, I have to come on and I have to do a show that speaks to issues that need to be spoke upon. I had made the declaration that I wasn't going to talk about Trump for 4 years. Ever since the election, I did my show after, and I expressed my dismay, and I left it alone. I said I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to do like I did when I first started the show And basically, it was on the average of once a month. I was talking about Trump because the dude's an idiot, and he's still an idiot. And I hate sounding like a broken record because it's the same stuff. It's nothing new, but the stuff that he's doing needs to be talked about. And I notice nobody's talking about it. And so I feel I have to break my promise. And I'm going to have to get on this show and talk about it. Will I lose subscribers because of that? Yeah. Will I lose listenership and viewership because of that? Yeah. But I'm okay with that. Because honestly, if me not telling the truth, not speaking on the truth, and you disagree that hard that you just don't want to listen to me, that's fine. I don't want you here anyway. And that's truth. And that's from the bottom of my heart. I don't want you here. If you're not willing to listen. I listen to everybody. I watch Fox News and I don't agree with 99.9999999% of the stuff they say on that entire network. But I listen to it because I like to hear other people's opinions from the other side. I don't want to just throw hate and don't know the whole story. Because it could be misguided hate. So I'm not like the other side. And so I'd rather get everybody's opinion. Now, I've had people reach out who completely disagree with me, but at the same time say that they respect the fact that I do talk about certain things. And I appreciate that, and that's fine. One of my best friends, we don't see eye to eye politically on nothing, but he's still my best friend. I still love him, but I think he's an idiot. And I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm one too. So it's all good. We can still get together and hang out. It's all good as long as we don't talk politics. But yeah, I'm gonna break my promise, and I'm gonna have to talk about this buffoon, because the stuff that's going on right now, and we're not even 2 months into this reign of terror, and it's it's like, my God, 4 long years of this, probably longer if it keep going the way it's going. But regardless, Kendrick Lamar. At least we got players out there like Kendrick Lamar who's gonna stand up for those who can't stand, who's gonna be the voice for those who are voiceless. I tip my hat to you, sir. Love you to death. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar. You got the world talking, and that was your whole intention. Mission accomplished. Greatly appreciated, my good sir. I would love to know your thoughts. How did you feel about the Super Bowl halftime show? I mean, were you upset? Were you one of the ones that were upset, or you just didn't get it? Because a lot of people just didn't get it. It weren't the fact that they were mad. They just didn't get it. If that's it, fine. That's cool. I would love to know your thoughts. And if you did enjoy it, I want to know, how did it speak to you? Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for this show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to movie goodness on this special edition as we talked about Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this talk. I wasn't expecting to talk this long about it, but I love that. I love that halftime show. I want you all to know that I love you, and I really do mean that. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.